So I started the recording. Welcome everybody to our first CKA office hours. So please unmute yourself if you want to ask any questions. You're more than welcome. So you shall see now our working document for the whole CKA sessions in the next weeks, every Monday. So, as you know, we have announced the CKA office hours on our Meetup page, and that's public. And after each session, we will provide the recording on our YouTube channel. And thanks to Enric, we are using Blackboard, and we'll use that for every CKA office hours weekly. And if you or someone is not yet on our Slack channel, you can, that's the link to the self-invite page. You can join the group, and then everyone can add you. Please ask to get added to the CKA channel. Everyone has the permission to add anyone else to the CKA channel. So regarding the topics for the next week, we'll start every week as a suggestion from you to propose any topics which you want. You have right access to this document, right? So anyone can write here any topics, and then we will discuss and vote together over SurveyMonkey. I will send after the session a short survey, a voting page to you, and then we will vote together and find out which topic we shall address next week. So my suggestion was to start with Kubernetes the hard way. That's somehow Google-centric. That's from Kelsey Hideover from Google. Is a very good starting point to learn Kubernetes, and then go through every part and ask any questions. So that the question is now, we can't provide that in one session, the Kubernetes the hard way. I would suggest that everyone who is going to take the CKA exam shall go through a self-learning, or through himself through the Kubernetes the hard way. And most probably you would have some questions which we can discuss in our weekly sessions. And one of the topics which was proposed last week by Harshal, I think, or Arush, was to go through the troubleshooting section for certificates. I'm not sure if you agree with one of these topics. As mentioned, I will provide a short a voting page via SurveyMonkey or on Twitter, and then we can vote about the next session. Good. The purpose of the office hours is to work together and learn together and have fun. So for those who don't know about Q17, is there any questions here in the chat? Alan, no. Hello everyone, greetings and so on. Okay, fine. So let's continue here. There is a great guide about the Q17. That was one of the hardest questions by the CKA exam. So we had a lot of fun on Slack discussing about that. I'm not sure if the question is still or it has been asked again in the CKA exam. Is Arush or some who took the CKA exam last week? Is someone from the CKAs among us, guys? No? Okay. So that was a topic about the ingress controller, to configure the ingress controller on the CDK, the canonical distribution of Kubernetes. And yeah, I think all of the candidates who took the exam had some problems with that, and they couldn't get it done at the end. So perhaps we can address that in a separate session. So I have to ask Marky Jackson or Arush about that, or any other CKAs who are among us in our Slack channel. So the next document which is provided here is the initial CKA exam guide. So I have it open here. I think this document was provided through Arush, as I remember. I'm not 100% sure, but there are some questions which was part of the exam, and some links here. You can go through the questions, and we have to address that during our weekly sessions. My suggestion would be to address that at least one of these questions by every session, or 2 or 3 of them, depending on how long it takes to yeah, go through the questions and provide some insights for them. Good. Then we have another document which you most probably know about that. That's the Kubernetes Learning Resources list. This is this document here. So we have a new section for CKA candidates here. That is section. So good, the working document, that's the first link, and then the handbook is about what is going to is a guide how to take the exam, and the other document is about the the curriculum of the exam is provided here as a PDF document. I think you know that, but please go through through this document and then provide your feedback where you think you have some need for us to go more deeply through, for instance, the networking section, right? And in this CKA working document, I wrote, or there is a section, pain points, that's here, the next topic. Please write in this document which topics is more, is important for you to know. You would like to have more insights so that we can provide a dedicated session for that. For instance, etcd backup was very hard, or troubleshooting for certs. That was one of the suggestions for next week, or how to manage secrets, and the Q17 question about the ingress controller. So then I'd like to, yeah, I'm sure that Marky couldn't attend to this section due to some problems today. He had an outage, had to fix that, and couldn't attend to this section. Mark is going to help us by providing our next courses and what's, I think, along Arush. Arush is not among us, but Arush could help, or Hashal and other CKAs who went through the certification exam. And the next topic is about the documentation itself. We have a Git book, which is empty for now. Somewhere I have it open. That's the Git book. I'm not sure if we, for the CKE exam, we shall provide, we will, in long term, we will provide some basic courses for Kubernetes and basic, for container technology under the novice. And for the proficient, I think it was planned to provide some guidelines how to set up a production-ready Kubernetes cluster and work with Kubernetes and deploy applications and do some troubleshooting. And this section is now for the CKA expert. We need to provide some documentation after each office hour or a dedicated training session through virtual classes, and write after each session a protocol or the course itself here on the Git book. So if one would like to, I saw Payam has provided his name here to thank you, Payam, for your kind support to help us providing the documentation or write the documentation on this page. And good. The next section is about questions. So please ask any questions or write your questions here. So in this living document, working document, so that we know what we shall address by the next sessions. Good. At the end, I wrote some other topics about the Kubernetes the hard way. So Arush is working, or I think he is already with Kubernetes the hard way on AWS, and I will work on the OpenStack section. So, OpenStack part to provide the Kubernetes the hard way on OpenStack. For our hands-on training, we have set up OpenStack environment for you. That's this, as you'll get access to a Kubernetes cluster to play with that. If you want, in addition to your Minikube local installation or CKA, the canonical distribution of OpenStack, which you can run locally on Ubuntu or on AWS, wherever. And is there any question? Okay, yeah. My hurdle is to set up a lab to start playing around. Okay, Anthony. So that is exactly what we want to provide. So and then the lab could be a local lab, right? So on your on your Mac, Linux, whatever. To be honest, I don't have any Windows. I don't work on Windows. I don't know how to, but I'm sure you can set up a VirtualBox on Windows and set up a simple Minikube cluster on your VirtualBox with Ubuntu, CentOS, or even with CoreOS. And yes, that would be a shared lab. If you need access to our to the Kubernetes environment cluster, we can provide kubeconfig to you and credentials how you can access this environment on our OpenStack. So Christopher, is Christopher among us? You wanted to attend? I have to see among. Christopher is not here. Okay. So Christopher is one of our CKAs who set up the whole, who is hosting the OpenStack deployment. So it was one question. Yeah, we are hosting the OpenStack deployment, right? So that's our own bare metal environment as a co-location here in Germany, in Frankfurt. Yeah, on that's a 5-node cluster which we can extend. We have also, I think, 20 other servers where we can install other or add other nodes to OpenStack and then provide several Kubernetes clusters to you for in the next weeks till your exam. That was the intention and why we set up the environment here. So go back to, yeah, good. Now I would like to know from you. Let's go and decide about the next session next week. So first, do you all agree to go through the Kubernetes the hard way together till next week? Or would you prefer to have a troubleshooting session about certificates? Guys, any feedback? Okay, I'll see in the chat. Paloma, Katie, Kubernetes, okay, I think we will go through Kubernetes the hard way. I think it would be great to start from a beginner level. Okay, the beginner level is also Kubernetes the hard way, right? So unless there are some lovely guys, girls here who say, I would like to know how to set up Minikube. But I think, correct, I already took that and it's a great starting point. Yeah, exactly, Henrik. That is really, I went through the Kubernetes the hard way, I think, a year ago. But I will go through the new version. The new version is here, updated recently by Kelsey for version 1.7.4. So there might be a problem here for the exam. I don't think there would be any problem because the exam is, as you know, is for Kubernetes 1.6.2, right? Perhaps we can set up or go through the Kubernetes the hard way with Kubernetes 1.6.2 version. So I think that should be possible easily. I have to ask Marky or Arush. Myself, as I mentioned, I didn't go through the Kubernetes the hard way a lot, since more than 1 year. So I will go through together with you through this session, through this guide of Kelsey, and then if there is any questions, you can ask in our Slack channel, in the CKA channel of our Slack group, and then we will see what problems and questions are arise during Daniel. I think if people are looking for core concepts and very basic, the case stocks would cover. Yes, that's right. So here, what I forgot to mention on this Kubernetes learning resources list. Okay, for us, for the CKA candidates, I wrote some links, or provided the links here, but as we agreed, the number one is here. We will go through the Kubernetes the hard way this week till next Monday, and then the main documentation is provided here. If that's the first link, everybody should. I know most of you have gone through the documentation, but for the CKA exam, we need something more than only the documentation, especially the troubleshooting section. But we will start with the basics and with the Kubernetes the hard way. And there is a very nice tutorial by Abhikesh Tiwari here. I found that last week on Twitter. If you are very new to Kubernetes, then it would be nice to go first through this tutorial, and also the great Kubernetes bootcamp here, and the site with Katakoda. Where is the link to this? Here, learn Kubernetes. So all topics which are listed here, which are in red, in general, is recommended to go through. And but we want to work together and agree that we are on the same level every week, and we will start with the Kubernetes the hard way till next week. And during this week and over the weekend, we have to work. We can ask any question on our Slack channel. Agreed? Noah, I'm translating Kubernetes the hard way into some local VMs this week. Oh, wow. That would be awesome. And I'd love to compare hurdles next week. Okay. That would be very, very great if you could provide some insights, Noah, how you, which problems you'll face on VBox, okay, and VirtualBox. Yeah, that would be really awesome. So Nigel wrote that as well. Thanks. Okay. Good. Let's go and see if someone provided any feedback about other topics. So, or questions. I don't see any questions. And then let's go on the top. So we agreed. So I will write in the protocol next week. Suggestion will go all together. Go together. That's Sanskrit deleted, and then good. Perhaps I have to ask Marky if he could give us a short, show us how to deal with the certificate troubleshooting. Or shall we arrange a dedicated session for it? I think we need more than 1 hour to cover the certificate troubleshooting section. Good. That was from my side. So if there is no question for this week, then I'd like to thank you for participating, and please write if any questions in this working document, and then we will see how to proceed and address your questions on Slack or directly in the document, provide feedback. Okay. Okay, thanks, Ganesh, Nigel, Anthony. Oh, thank you, guys. Thanks, Paloma, Noah. Have a nice day and evening or night in India. Jayesh. Yes, good. Then I will stop the recording, and Enric will send us the